Hi, and welcome to energizers.com. I'm MK, and thank you for watching the best site on the internet for everything involving energizers, icebreakers, and everything that you need to go out there and win the crowd. The energizer we're going to present to you today is fantastic. It's called a Fistful of Facts, and it revolves around, well, yeah, your fist. And the cool thing about a fist is well, you always have it handy, so to speak. Pun intended, absolutely. And the other cool thing is it's so intuitive that once you have introduced it to your crowd, they will be able to use this throughout an entire session in various ways with different topics. And it's just a cool way to get back to, an exercise that you can repeat and make different every time, even though it's exactly the same. We use this all the time, and we use it because they think it's fun, it's enjoyable, and it's also one of those energizers that they will go home and they will use probably with their kids and stuff, because it's a nice way to get some information from people in a very casual, laid back and relaxed way. So, as said, this energizer is called a Fistful of Facts. And the thing about it is that on your hand you have 5 fingers. Well, most of us have 5 fingers at least, but it's just a cool way and an easy way for everyone to remember what to do in this energizer. It's an energizer that can be used, as an icebreaker. It can be used to do some reflection on the topics that you're discussing, and it can also be taken into a small team building exercise if that's what you want to do. That's also why we have 2 Fistful of Facts elements on the page. It's simply because we have a light version and we have the regular version. The regular version will have the team building part. It's the same video, so don't get confused. It's the same video because they are so close to each other. It's just to help with the search engine. We've had to make 2 different ones so that when you search, you will get the one that suits your needs. So in terms of crowd size, how many people you can do this with, you can do it with as many people as you like. You can do it in pairs, so you can split them up in groups of 2. Sorry, that's a pair. 2 is a pair. 3 or 4. I wouldn't go above 4 because they'll take turns explaining what they feel about different things, and if it gets too many, it gets boring. So I would say cap it at 4, but a pair will work nicely as well. In terms of time you want to spend on it, well, once you get into it, I would say, let's say 30 seconds per person, 45 seconds, maybe 1 minute per person. Or you could, if you have plenty of time, go as high as 2 minutes. But it can be hard for someone to talk 2 minutes about themselves. That can be a real issue for some people, but that's fair enough. So basically just set a time that if you are a pair, you'll say, okay, I'll only spend, let's say, 3 minutes on this. So give them 45 seconds each, and a little time to prepare and talk and figure out who's A and who's B and all that. You don't need any props. The prop is, is with you. It's a hand, so that's really easy, and it requires no preparation. So it's a real easy energizer. To set the scene, I would absolutely use this as an icebreaker to begin with in the session. It's a nice way to just get people, first introduced to you, introduced to the energizer itself, and then have them introduce themselves to each other, maybe 2 or 3 people. So I would simply start by walking on stage and say, well, good morning or good afternoon or whatever time of day it is. I will just like to introduce myself. My name is MK, and I'm going to introduce a few things about myself. This is the icebreaker part, right? It's about myself. It's an introduction, and then I will introduce the hand. So what I would like to talk about is a few things about me. I always like to talk about me, and today I'm going to do it with this very handy tool. So first of all, thumbs up. First of all, what I really like to do mountain climbing. I love the mountains, I love nature, I love the thrill and the excitement and the danger element. I like that as well, so I really like that. Where am I going? Pointing. Where am I going? Which direction am I going in? Well, currently I'm working on this project. Currently, I would really like to finish my MBA. Currently, I'm trying to develop this and that. Currently, where am I going? What's my direction? Then we have this one. Yes, that one as well. What do I hate? What do I love? I don't like driving in traffic. I hate being sitting there and traffic is not moving. I hate it. I think it's a waste of time. I really don't want to do that. So whenever I can, I'll try whatever to get out of traffic or to get myself from A to B some other way. The ring finger. What am I committed to? Commitment. Well, I'm committed to today. to make this session outstanding for you. I want you to have a fantastic day, and I want you to leave today after this session and feeling that you have been empowered, that you've been given new inspiration, that you've learned something, and that you go home and find yourself that this has been a really good, productive day. So that's what I'm committed to. And just a little quirky thing about me, just because, well, the little thing that makes a difference, the little things that makes you stand out. Well, I've been playing in a band for many years, and I've just released a record, my first record. I'm very old, so I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be a star. I'm not gonna go on stage. I'm not Robbie Williams. I'm not Justin Bieber. So even if you are believers, no need to scream. That's not gonna be. But I do play in a band, and I have just released a record. That was some things about myself. And now it's your turn. You will address the audience, and now it's your turn. And you're going to use your hand, and you're simply going to say, thumbs up. What do I like? What thrills me? What do I think is great? Point. Which direction am I headed? What are my goals? What do I hate? What don't I like? What do I dislike? What annoys me? What am I committed to? What are my goals? Where are my loyalties? And a quirky little thing, what makes me stand out, what makes me special. So that's the setup. I would absolutely do it to introduce yourself first, and then have your group work with it and try it out themselves. It's so easy to remember because, well, that's basically what the fingers say and how you use them. So very, very easy. So that's the setup. Introduce yourself, let them have a go at it. Tell them to go out there and find 4 different people to introduce yourself like this. It will take you 5-7 minutes, and then you have an icebreaker. People have gotten out of their chairs, moved around, introduced themselves to each other, had a laugh, and sit down, and you're ready to start your session. Now, as you progress through the day, you can use this energizer, a fistful of facts, with all sorts of topics. It's a beautiful little energizer that you can use with, let's say you have a sales team, or you are talking values, or you are launching new strategy. Doesn't really matter. You can use it with everything, because every time that you have sort of finished a part of that topic, you can send people out and say, okay, now we're finished with this. Let's say it's sales, to take something. We finished the sales first part of this module. Go out there and talk with 3 people, or get in groups, pair up, team up. You can do that. You can use some of our team up exercises if you want to have groups. You can use atoms and molecules if you want to have larger groups, and then have them take turns and say, okay, in terms of sales, what do I really like about my job? Or what do I really like about my customers? Where do I want to go in terms of my customers? Or where do I want my customers to go? What do I hate about my customers? What am I committed to do with the things that we've just discussed in the session? And what is this little thing that really excites me, or really makes me think, now I'm going to go out and do this? So that's sales. I'm sure you can put a lot of different words on it, because every session is different, of course. But if it was values, or if it was strategy, what do I like about the strategy? What excites me about the strategy? Why is this strategy great? Where will this take us? Where will it take me? Where do I see this going? What am I not so thrilled about with the strategy? What could be better? What would I like to see improved or changed? What am I committed to with this strategy? Is there something that is special about the strategy that I will commit to make sure that we get successful with it? And which little thing do I think is really cool or funny or funky about the strategy? And next person up, speak their piece. And now that they've done this, regarding of the type of session or what you're talking about, you can always start challenging people. And since not everyone jumps out of their seat if you say, okay, will someone give an example of what you said? Pick me, pick me. There's not so many people out there. Well, there's some, obviously, that will jump out of their seat and say, pick me. So what you can do, if you have divided people into pairs, for instance, and you said, okay, you go out and find someone to pair up with. One is A, one is B. A, you start, B, you listen, and then you take turns after 45 seconds or 1 minute. You'll change, and then it's the other person's turn. What I would do is, I would get a hold of, let's say, this pair here. Okay, so A, you've told B what you felt about the strategy. B, will you give us an example of what A said, the best thing that you found that A said about the strategy? That way you're not putting A on the spot, but you're still getting the information that A should be telling you, because now B is saying that. And you shouldn't hold back then, because if B says that, well, A said this and this and this, and it was really great, you can always start asking A. This is to facilitate and say, okay, A, B has just told us that you find that the strategy is really, really great, but you have some concerns about what exactly. Can you elaborate on that? What are your concerns? And that way you can start a process. And that process, you can just pick and choose a few, and then you can mix and match the groups and say, okay, well, if the four of you go together and the four of you go together and talk about what did you learn when you did the Fistful of Facts. So that's one way of facilitating it, and that works really, really great. It's a good way to get people to talk and communicate. If you want to take a fistful of facts and turn it into a team building exercise, you will do that after you have done all the things we've just talked about. If you have introduced, let's say, values, and you've been talking about the values, you've had people group up, pair up, or group up, and done their bit on the values, what they think, what they like, what they dislike, and what they're committed to, and so on and so forth. Have them go together in groups, let's say groups of 6, and then have some cardboard and markers and different tools to have them draw a hand, a big hand, and then on each finger, describe what do they like about this, what is great about this, where are we headed, why are we headed there, what don't we like, what are we concerned about, what are we committed to, and what are the little things that we're really looking forward to, or whatever. And then once they have done this hand, give them like 10 minutes, because now you have 6 people with all kinds of different views. Have them draw the hand, write on the hand, and then let them have a small presentation where you pick one that will tell, well, this is our hand, this is our company hand, this is our value hand, this is our strategy hand, or whatever they want to call it. Up to you to, let's say, give it a headline of some sort, and then let them have introduce their hand to the rest of the group. And that way you will suddenly have a whole group. Let's say you have 60 people, 10 groups presenting this. Just give them 1 minute, 1.5 minutes each. Doesn't have to be long. But now you're taking a fistful of facts, which can actually be done in 30, 45 seconds. If you turn it into something that is throughout this whole session, whatever you're doing, you can drop this maybe 3-4 times during the session, and now you turn it into a team building exercise, and you can even take and wrap this up in a very nice key learning points. What are our key learning points about this particular subject? Well, that's it for a fistful of facts. I hope you'll join this energizer because it's so cool and it's so easy and intuitive. You cannot possibly go wrong with this. It just helps people remember, okay, what are we talking about? What am I supposed to do? It's so easy, so simple, and yet really, really powerful. Go to our Facebook community site. Go there and write about your experiences, ask questions, get feedback, upload a video, get feedback on that, and so on and so forth. We're all there to help you go out there and win the crowd. I'm MK. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, take care.